About Coffin Club. So let's welcome
Is that the first challenge?
Yeah,
When you can actually make it stage like a krypton factor.
Oh yes.
Right, what do we
Do you want
do?
this?
Technology.
Technology. See that button there?
No, yes.
That one. You just
Okay.
or wave or.
Can you go like
You'll have to go that side though, she'll be
That's-
right in it, won't
It'll be
you?
15 minutes.
Well, you'll be in on the thing.
Watch out for the edge.
Because otherwise I can't see that, it's already started. She's already told me off because we wrote these cards and I wrote the words so teeny weeny weeny that we couldn't actually.
And it's in pencil as well, so and now she's got them on that side, so I've got no chance.
Yeah,
at all.
I'll just sort of, I'll do like
But
that.
actually, it doesn't matter because just before we start, I know it's going already, but I don't often get a word in edgeways anyway. So let's go.
Right, so we are here talking about Coffin Club! So we are Kate and Kate, blonde Kate, redhead Kate,
Posh Kate, common Kate.
or any other way you want to refer to us. We have been mates for about 12
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together.
We do, although we may not be mates for much longer after my card debacle. We met when we were both registrars at East Sussex Registration Service, but we worked at Hastings, not Eastbourne.
No, I worked at Eastbourne.
Oh yeah, you did, but you didn't like it, did you? I'm just saying.
No, thanks, Kate. Yeah.
So we met as registrars, and then the registration service, as with all public sector stuff, was being more and more squashed, and we were getting more and more fed up with the service that we were able to provide as registrars. So we thought, sod it, we'll go independent and become independent celebrants. So we are now Kate and Kate celebrants. So when we started, at first we were doing weddings, and then we very quickly realised that weddings are very seasonal, so you work for about 5 months of the year and then you're basically unemployed, apart from the odd Christmas or Valentine's Day.
Yeah, seasonal.
So we decided that we needed another string to our bow. The obvious one was
Funerals. But it was a little bit scary. It took us a little while because we were like, ooh, dead people, coffins, and we couldn't bear it. But we decided that we needed to do it because we needed to make money. So we did the training and everything, didn't we? We got the T-shirt.
We did, and we felt
See,
the way.
this is what happens. Can I just say? I was just starting there, wasn't I?
I let her talk for a little bit, and then I got bored. Yeah, so we felt the weight of responsibility, so we
jumping
did
again
the
in a
training.
It's absolutely fine.
It's fine because we got loads of coffins at home, so I'm just sticking around. So we did the training, and then we only got 15 and then within a very short space of time, we turned to each other and we said,
Would you want this for your loved one, Kate?
yeah, or for you, in fact.
Yeah, and very quickly
We both said,
no,
we
didn't want
wouldn't.
that.
We are not saying there's anything wrong with this. If you want this, that's absolutely brilliant. But what we want you to know is there is a massive spectrum of things that you can do. So from this very conventional man dressed as a Dickensian limo hearse, right at the other end you've got dancing naked through a cornfield.
Which she does all the time.
I do,
obviously.
yeah, and fire jugglers, all of that. And then you've got everything in between. So if you know about all of those choices and you still want that, what will we do, Kate?
We'll facilitate that 1,000%.
Yes, but we want you to know about all the other choices available to you.
Right, stop there because you're going on, I can tell.
No, I'm not. And not that you end up at a point of bereavement simply being channeled because a funeral director is not going to tell you about all the choices available to you. So that is why we started Coffin Club. So it started really, this is St Mary's in the Castle, this is our third trustee who is called Larnay. Kate and I are all jazz hands and look at us and aren't we funny?
Falling off the stage and everything.
We're like the performing monkey trustees. And then we have one very sane, very lovely, very reliable, dependable, professional trustee who is called Larnay.
Or Larnay.
Larnay, as we like to call her. So she is the third trike on our tricycle, third wheel on our tricycle.
I think she likes to be called a trike, do you?
No. So we had a meeting with St Mary in the Castle in Hastings about doing weddings, actually. And I then went, oh, do you know what? This would be a really good venue for a Coffin Club. Because Coffin Club started in New Zealand. Did you know that? No? Well, it did. It started in New Zealand. I'd read about it in The Guardian. And
because she's dead posh, like.
Yeah, a bit of a lefty. And thought, oh, that's a brilliant idea and we should do it here. So we had a little meeting in St Mary in the Castle. I went, oh my God, this would be such a good venue for Coffin Club. So then we'd booked the dates, we were doing it, and you were going,
oh my God, what she got me into this time. But yeah, it was there, we were doing it. Right?
So we went back home, and in New Zealand they build their own coffins. We don't. We buy flat pack ply coffins, but at first we used cardboard coffins. So we went back to Kate Towers, as we like to call it, and phoned around for cardboard coffins. I'm from a place called Morpeth in Northumberland, and when we were looking online, there was a coffin supplier in Morpeth, and I was like, oh my God, that's fate, that's just meant to be. So we phoned up the coffin supplier and said, hi, we're Kate, and I said, you're not going to believe this, because I live in Hastings, but I'm actually from Morpeth. And he went, didn't say anything. And then I went, and we're starting a coffin club and we need a load of cardboard coffins. Will you supply them? No. So that was the end of that conversation. But we did find a very nice cardboard coffin supply, didn't we?
Louise from Earth to Heaven, who's been fantastic and very supportive to Coffin Club. And what was really exciting, I'm just going to quickly say, is also Coffin Club that started in New Zealand was in a place called, there was one in Hastings in New Zealand, and the lady that ran it, her name was Katie. So again, we were like, you know,
Let's be, ladies and
got to
gentlemen.
be, yeah.
I think we're running out of time already. Anyway, these are our cardboard coffins. This is Babs. It's not actually Babs, this is Babs' coffin. Babs is terminally ill. She came to the first Coffin Club, she was actually in remission, but she's come back again because her cancer's come back, so she's come back to Coffin Club. She did this amazing lining inside hers, and all this is detachable, because if you're going to be cremated you can't have anything that goes woof in the cremator, so you can't have tissue
That's
paper
the thing that you burned in a cremator.
like that, yeah.
Don't
And that's
be
called
technical.
charging. When you push the coffin into the cremator, it's called charging. See, you're learning a lot, aren't you, ladies and gentlemen? And Babs now has a death doula. Has anyone heard of a death doula? So that's somebody who said yes. Oh, well done, madam. So that's somebody who supports you through your journey at the end of your life. Like you can have a birth doula, you can have an end of life doula. So, do you want to explain how Coffin Club runs?
Yes, I do. So Coffin Club basically is a safe space to talk about death and to plan your perfect send-off. It's a 6-week course, runs for 3 hours, currently on a Wednesday morning, 10:30 to 1:30. So the first hour is the speaker that we have from different industry experts. We have a more forward-thinking funeral director. We have somebody from the local hospice. We have a bereavement counsellor. We have natural burial ground. We have the manager from our local crematorium who knows everything there is to know about. Have I missed anybody
No,
else?
you've done really well, really
excellent.
well.
And she's not jumped in yet. It's
No,
great.
I've been like that.
So they speak for an hour. Then we have coffee, and then our clubbers, we call them clubbers. Then they then have an hour and a half to paint and decorate, if they would like to, their own flat packed ply coffin that they put together with an Allen key.
Yeah, so that's our old style coffin. And the thing about Coffin Club is you don't have to make a coffin. You can just come for the talks and you don't actually have to do a coffin at all. The talk's completely free, so you only pay if you want to do a coffin, but you're welcome to just come for the talks bit so that you are educated about the choices that you have for your end of life and send off, because it's really unregulated. You can pretty much do whatever you like as long as ultimately you dispose of the body correctly, which is either burying or cremating currently. So this is our cardboard coffin there. We then, that's another cardboard coffin. That's lovely. He was lovely. He's a Quaker, so he put Quaker oats on and he liked doing the naked bike ride. Our coffins are not kind of great works of art. No. Kate and I are kind of preschool level artistic skills. Not even joking. No, we're barely, you know how you teach children to use scissors? We're about that stage in our artistic development. And I think when we talk about Coffin Club, people decorating coffins, people imagine these amazing, you know, you see these ones in Nigeria that are carved and they're spectacular and people think they're going to be spectacular. They're not, they're a bit sort of rubbish.
But that's what makes them endearing.
But
it's lovely.
It's not about the artistic talent, it's about the fact that people have thought about what's important to them in their life and they've put that on their coffins. So we've had, can you go backwards there? So we've had somebody, what have we had, Kate?
We've had a guy that worked as a printer for a local paper, and he had different prints on it, and it was covered in different bits from his newspaper. We've had a lady that she kept hold of her husband's ashes for 18 years.
Oh, we'll come to her in a minute.
Okay, which one shall I go with then?
Oh, okay. We'll tell you as we see them. Oh. So we moved on to flat pack ply coffins. So these are called coffin in a box. We are the UK's preferred supplier for coffin in a box. If anyone wants to buy a coffin off us, see us after. We'll do a good deal. So it comes in 10 different pieces and you put it together with an Allen key, literally like a bit of IKEA furniture. Those are the handles, they slot in. They are very low carbon footprint because everything in the manufacture is very ergonomic because they're Dutch, of course it is. So nothing's left over, it's all used in the manufacturing
and
process.
they're weight bearing, so you can actually lift the coffin with the handles rather than we do traditionally when you shoulder it, and you do that because the handles don't work.
With British crap.
So you can hold it like that.
Yeah, so a family can carry it.
Yeah.
So this one, we're going to skirt over because she's really poorly at the moment and it's making us both quite sad. So we'll just move quickly on. We do lots and lots of promoting of Coffin Club. So this was a local artist, Susan Elliott. God, Kate, we have to talk fast.
Yeah, she just did it.
We were in the carnival. Kate kept going, "You're all gonna die."
I didn't put it got everyone's attention. They were all asking about it, weren't they? It's the only one could do it.
And what we find is at first, when we say Coffin Club, we go and talk to WIs, U3A, Probus, all your different
in STEAM room,
groups.
at spin class, I heard somebody talking.
And what we find is that at first people are a bit, look at their feet, they're like, oh, they're going to talk to us about death, it's going to be really uncomfortable, we're British, we don't like emotions, we certainly don't want to talk about something that's going to make us upset. And by the end, because we are completely normal about it, in fact we're a bit ridiculous about it, people are completely on board and they're putting their hand up and they're telling you about a funeral they went to and they're telling you about how they want their funeral.
We're crying, we're all over the place.
Because we are all going to die. So these are two of our latest clubbers. That we have their permission to talk about them. So that's Jill and Leslie. Leslie's mad about Elvis, so she stuck Elvis all over hers, as you can see. Jill got her granddaughter to kind of sear everybody's names into these little love hearts.
And when we do funerals, because we also funeral celebrants,
I'm just going to flick those quickly.
You can,
a minute, Kate, a minute.
It completely changes a funeral. I mean, as well as we try and let you know that you don't actually have to use the crematorium. You can use a barn, you can do it in a pub, you can do it in a back garden, you can do the actual celebration wherever you like. and just changing the coffin and having it something like this, something personalised, changes everything. People are talking, they're leaning on the coffin as they're giving the tribute.
Here, that's exactly what they're doing.
It's part of the actual service. It completely changes it. Hence why we are so passionate about getting this word out to
We
you.
have a new patron. Does anyone know who that is? Does anyone not know who that is? It's only Miriam! I know!
And we can call her Mim.
Yeah, we can, 'cause she's our best mate. So she loves Coffin Club. We have helped her plan her perfect send-off. This is Miriam's coffin. Yeah, I'm not even joking. And she's got in and out of it, and she loves it. And we are so proud to have her as our patron. She's amazing. So now it's all about funding, because we've basically done everything for nothing for a year and a half, and not only are we exhausted, we're very poor. So
You're in third position.
I'm still doing that all the time. Yeah. But I'm falling off the stage. So if you'd like to give us any money, we are a charity.
Yeah.
It's official. We've got a number and everything. We have got a donate button. We also are in the Aviva community funding thing. So if you put Aviva community funding, that's typing for those of you that don't know what I'm doing. You can then vote for Coffin Club.
10 votes.
You don't have to give us any money, you just have to register and give us 10 votes, please. If you work for any sort of community organisation that works with elderly people or carers or people with dementia or anybody, you can come to a cascade event where we will tell you what Coffin Club does and you cascade it down to your service users. Have I covered everything? Oh God, I've got
That's the award we got.
We won a runners-up award. We always say we won a runners-up because it makes it sound like we actually won.
We should have. We should have.
And it was actually for funeral celebrants influencing the wider industry.
Because it is bubbling away. People are talking about death and funerals all the time, and we are right on the crest of the wave. It is all changing.
So that's some other stuff that we got because we're amazing. And that's it. Coffin Club!
I think that's the most passionate talk we've ever had about death. We've had two other talks about death at the Bavard bar, and that there was just oozed. I mean, I didn't know there was so much passion in death. You two have done it. Now, this point in the Bavard bar, the floor is open for any questions, because this is what we do. So, does anybody have any questions for Kate and Kate about death, about ordering a flat pack coffin? Is that what? Do people come and see you mainly when they are terminally ill, or do they come and see you when they are in
We thought it would be that, but it actually isn't. It's
so each time we've had one person who's so we've done it 3 times so far. We've got another one in the spring, another one in the autumn. Each time we've had one terminally ill person, and then we get a few over 80 kind of elderly, and then we'll get people 60.
Well, it was like I was going to say, there was a lady that lost her husband and kept hold of his ashes for 18 years, didn't know what to do with it, and through Coffin Club she ended up opening up the urn, throwing them in, she put glue in, she glued in Barry, and she put her dogs, threw in a few dogs, she didn't she?
We used to get Barry out the cupboard.
Yeah, go on Barry! And then at the end of it, she had no intention of using her coffin for herself. But she went in the back garden, set light to it, and then it was just cathartic and fantastic.
I mean, the other thing that's happened is we run master classes, so we are teaching...
Master classes.
We are teaching people at our master classes how to set up and run their
I'm going to push her
own...
off the bloody stage.
How to set up and run their own coffin clubs. So they're now coming all over the country. We're established as a national charity.
She's got a big map. She won't let me put the stickers on it for each time. It looks like another one's going open, but it's really exciting.
Yeah, we do.
So Coffin Club. So is it the first in Hastings? Is
Yeah.
that
We are the
nowhere
UK's
else?
first.
UK's first Coffin Club.
Yeah.
And then
What
it's
we want
spreading.
is for
It's
in 5
spreading.
years' time there to be one in every
By
single town.
mistake, we've started a national charity.
Yeah.
We didn't mean to do it.
That's why we're a bit tired. Rocking a bit.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
If you get people that aren't terminally ill
Yeah.
and they make themselves a coffee, what happens to it when they've made it?
Well, they can take it apart again
Yeah.
and store it. So we say very clearly that we can't tell you what the rules on coffins will be in 20 years' time. So if you don't know your sell-by date, then that's a punt you're going to take. They're not massively expensive, but at the same time, that's 250 quid
Yeah.
you won't see again if the laws change and you can't use any coffin. Ours are all fit the standard for current laws on cremation and burial. But most people have been happy to take that risk, yeah, because of what they get from it. And the thing is, you can come to just the talks, and some people have, but what we find is, we have the speaker for an hour, then we have coffee, and then when people are there like this, decorating, this conversation continues. The stuff is starting to sink in, and they are continuing. And there's something about not making eye contact and using the other part of your brain because you're doing something creative. And the stuff that people share and how bonded everybody becomes in such a short time, which is why we don't want to look at that slide, because we actually really care about the people that come to Coffin Club, and then some of them have a habit of dying and it's really difficult. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
Do you have any cards or leaflets?
We've got loads of cards and leaflets, love. Yeah. Our bag's full.
We don't miss a trick.
We had about 8 million leaflets printed, and now we can't get rid of them. We're like, please take a leaflet.
Any other questions for Kate and Kate before? Because none of us are getting... Yes, Boots.
In the cremation side of things, are you just confined to a crematorium?
No. Oh, yes.
Yes. Thinking to make a choice.
Yeah. No, you are confined to the crematorium for the actual cremation, but you don't have to have your service there. So you can separate the being cremated from where you have your celebration of life. So that barn one that you saw there, he then was taken to the crem on his own. The family didn't attend. They said, right, we've said our goodbye here, we're going to stay and have the wake bit and continue celebrating his life. And he went with the funeral director to the crematorium and was cremated unattended by his family. You might have heard of direct cremation. Has anyone heard of that?
David Bowie did.
Yeah, David did it, and it got all trendy. We
Direct cremation?
Yeah, so they don't offer it at Eastbourne or Hastings, but they do at Tunbridge Wells, and that is where you literally go in the back and you are
Not through the back door.
cremated, and it's a lot less expensive because you're not paying for the chapel hire, so you can get an early morning slot at Hastings and Eastbourne for less money, but they don't do an actual direct cremation, which we have quizzed the manager of Hastings about, and he has given us an explanation of why. It's because there isn't a dignified way into the back of Hastings Crem. It's too public and everybody would see, so we kind of understand. But yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
With the people that come to your coffin club, and
Yes.
obviously it looks like it's very vivid and very bright.
Yeah.
Does it then alter the way in which some of them perhaps plan their entire funeral, and do they then start to think outside of the box themselves?
Completely.
As it were.
You bit
I mean, that is what Coffin Club is all about, and you see that from week one when you say you don't even need to use a funeral director. They go, "What? We thought that was the law, eh?"
Yeah.
There are no rules as long as you dispose of the body.
The one
That's
person you forgot to say that comes and speaks, we have a woman called Claire Power.
Oh, she's
such
fabulous.
a great name.
Yeah.
She did a DIY funeral in that she didn't use a funeral director when her husband died. She did a very conventional funeral because she's Roman Catholic, quite religious, so she wanted to have the church service. So it wasn't in a barn or anything woo-woo. But she bought a cardboard coffin online. She kept the body at home for 5 days.
And it was bloody hot.
And it was a hot May
It was
weekend. And everybody does that. But what she said was, when they came to take him on the day of his funeral, she was ready to say goodbye. She'd taken her time. There's this mad rush, you know, go on, get the body off the premises, it's going to start rotting and decomposing.
Seepage.
Yeah, seepage, it's going to leak everywhere. That's not necessarily what is going to happen.
Especially if you've been ill, because you are then
emaciated. You can be facilitated to keep somebody at home, and you know, we were squeamish at first. We've become less so, as you can tell. But I feel a bit like that. I think, God, if my husband, or God forbid, one of my kids died, would I want them in a fridge at a funeral director, or would I want them at home with me? You know,
I can't wait to do your funeral.
So I can't even remember what the bloody question was. What was the question?
It was about, does it alter the way they approach the whole
Yes.
funeral
Yeah,
process?
completely.
Yeah, and like Miriam Margulies, I've got to get a bloody name right, she was really scared.
Yeah.
And then she came to Coffin Club and she said, do you know what, I feel completely positive, I don't feel frightened anymore, because it's taking ownership back. You are empowered by it.
And you have a funeral wish list as well that you can work
your
through.
way
And then
through.
all the different speakers will answer all of the questions. So by the end of the 6-week course, you have planned your perfect send-off. You know all the choices, how much it costs, don't get a funeral plan, etc.
Don't get a funeral plan.
We could talk about it for
Yeah.
hours. I'm sorry. So
I
we need
will
to
just
stop.
say one very last
Yes.
thing, which is going on from your point, that, you know, if you haven't done a coffin club, what happens? Somebody ends up at a point of bereavement in front of a funeral director who says you can have package A, B or C. It may not contain what you want, it may have stuff in it that you don't want, but that's what I'm offering you. Which one do you want, and you have to pay for it. We feel that is the tail wagging the dog. But at that point, you're bereaved. You're not in the position to go, do you know what, I'm going to ask you questions about this and I'm going to think creatively and I want to know why that costs that much. I've got an embalming story that'll make your hair curl. But you won't ask those questions at that point. So do it ahead of time. Stop being so bloody British and talk about it.
And that's what Coffin Club's about.
Yeah.
Talk about it, people.
Tell me,